My beloved, my chosen one, my child of grace, whose steps carry heaven's light. Why did your hands suddenly turn cold? Why did your heart make that strange jump? Deep within, you already feel that something has opened. A truth sealed for years is finally being uncovered, and heaven is allowing you to see it. But only if you remain, because Archangel Michael is crying again. He is not simply weeping, he is wailing. Do you know why? You often leave the one message that was never meant to be missed. It is the message carrying your name in golden flame. It holds the answer to what someone confessed about you when you were absent. This is not another story to scroll beyond. This is the moment heaven moves through time and mercy to place the truth before you. If you miss it, you may never see your life the same way. Before we continue, please listen. If your soul is ready to see what has been hidden and your spirit feels this pull, subscribe to this sacred place where God and his messengers speak. You were not brought here by chance. You arrived through divine timing. Missing the next quiet word could delay what has searched for you for years. This is not entertainment. It is a message from heaven. Archangel Michael spoke last night. His arms showed the marks of battles you cannot see. As he looked upward and said, "You did not know what had just been spoken behind closed doors." God heard every word. Now Archangel Michael must bring you the truth, whether it hurts you, heals you, or changes how you see him forever. My dear one, you became the subject of a late-night confession. It was not a joke or an imagined dream. It came from a trembling soul, open, unguarded, and unable to hide any longer. At last they said it. They spoke what you had always sensed, the words buried beneath silence. They could not keep it inside any longer. They admitted they still think about you. They said you changed their life in a way they cannot explain. They tried to replace you. They tried to forget you, but nothing worked. The instant those words left their mouth, heaven shook, because the truth had finally crossed from silence into the open. You deserved to know, but you were not ready before. Until this moment, the truth was too heavy for your heart. Now you are strong enough to receive it, but a warning comes with it. Archangel Michael said that if you skip this message, you will miss both the confession and the door it opens. Once this door closes, it will not open again. Let that truth settle. This door carries more than words. It holds visions. It holds understanding. It holds the answer to why that person left and why your memory remains like a sacred letter folded inside their soul. My child, this is your time to know. It does not come through gossip or tears, but through heaven's records. When someone makes a confession through pain, angels notice. They write it down. When that confession concerns you, it remains in a heavenly vault until God says to deliver it. That time has arrived. Heaven has waited until your heart could hear it without breaking under its weight. The air near you feels different now, does it not? It may feel heavier and warmer. Archangel Michael is here not as a symbol but in spirit. He carries a scroll marked with your name. The words within may make you cry. They may make you angry. They may make you whole. Each line carries something your spirit has needed. Do you still want to hear them? This truth is not for a weak heart. It is not a story. It is a report about your soul. Think of the person who hurt you. The one who left, or perhaps the one who never came close enough. They broke a sacred bond, yet they never stopped feeling it. Recently, they told someone they believed they had destroyed something holy. They were not speaking about a house. They meant you in their heart. They knew your love had been rare, pure, and impossible to replace. You were the miracle they failed to protect. Now life is making them watch you rise without them. But their confession is not the only surprise. The greater shock is what heaven has prepared because of it. God is not punishing you. He is preparing a change. Sometimes one person must confess before a door opens for someone else. That person is you. The door opens for you because you waited. You did not become bitter. You allowed your tears to feed your roots. Now heaven will lift you publicly for what you survived privately. Archangel Michael said this is not only about hearing the confession, it is about what that confession begins. Heaven has seen every silent storm you endured behind closed doors, and now your public restoration begins. Claim this divine realignment by typing "Heaven fights for me" in the comments below. As you write it, feel the weight of those private battles lifting off your shoulders. Everything I have covered across this channel is now in one place. The prayers, the teachings, the daily blessings, it is all inside the Daily Miracle Manual. Link in the description. Please know that every seed you plant in this mission grows into a torch that shines in someone else's darkness. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community, does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. but more than your support, we want your presence. When you head to our community through the link in the description or the pinned comment, you aren't just visiting a site. You are entering a community of like-minded believers. This is a sanctuary where you can post your prayer requests, lift up the burdens of others, and engage in daily discussions with a family that speaks the language of faith. Whether you are joining one of our membership tiers for deeper study, sowing a seed of faith, or simply joining our daily morning prayers, you are helping us build a global altar of worship. Heaven moves through willing voices, but it grows through a community that stands together. Each gift you give acts as living water for those in our community seeking healing and hope. Give, and it will be given to you, is the promise that sustains our shared mission. I invite you now to step out of the shadows and into this circle of prayer. Come with purpose, join the conversation, and plant your seed in fertile ground. Let us open the heavens together. Release your seed today, join our community, and see what God brings back into your life. Here is the truth. They spoke your name with regret. They said it like someone who knew they had lost more than a person. They had lost a prayer. You were their answered prayer, but they allowed fear to speak louder than love. Now memories follow them, not ghosts, but memories. They remember your laugh. They remember the depth in your eyes. They remember how your silence felt safer than anyone's words. They also admitted they still search for your energy and wonder whether you think of them. Heaven knew something they did not. You had already moved forward. Still, your spirit left a fragrance within them. Now every piece of love you gave freely is returning as a reward. Nothing sincere that came from your heart was ever lost. And as heaven begins returning what your heart gave away, it is also bringing guidance for the burdens you have carried quietly in every other part of your life. My child, I see the struggle you have been facing, the stress about finances, the silent worries that stay in your heart, and the moments where you feel uncertain about what comes next. You have been asking for peace, and that answer is already on its way. You are not meant to stay stuck in fear. You are meant to walk forward with purpose, with faith, and with clear steps every day. That is why a simple system has been placed in front of you. A 30-day faith and financial breakthrough system, a path where each day brings you a focused prayer, a small financial action, and clear direction to help you move ahead. No pressure, no confusion, just steady progress toward peace and stability. If something inside you feels ready, if you are ready to change your situation, take that first step today. This could be the moment your life begins to change. You will find the link in the description and in the pinned comments below. And this is only one part of the restoration heaven is now bringing into every hidden place of your life. You are about to see something only heaven could arrange. While you cried at night, someone wrote about you in a journal. Someone asked psychics about your energy. Someone whispered toward the moon for one final sign from you. This message is that sign. It is heaven's answer to their searching, not to reunite you, but to free you. It frees you from waiting, wondering, and weakening yourself while hoping for an apology. The confession has already been made and healing is beginning now. Archangel Michael said that when you receive this fully, chains will fall from your spirit. The angels who once carried your tears will now carry your victory. You are entering a season of supernatural justice, not revenge or resentment, but divine realignment. Heaven has visited the person who hurt you. They know their spirit has been confronted with the truth they kept trying to avoid. They have dreamed about you. They see your name in unexpected places. They hear songs carrying the mark of your soul. They tried to escape the memory, but heaven does not erase sacred bonds. It redirects destiny. Now you are being redirected toward your true path and your real reward. You are entering a life where peace becomes daily bread and truth rests upon your forehead. Archangel Michael is no longer crying. He is watching. He watches you take your first breath of freedom because you now understand that you were always the blessing. You were always the prayer. This message gives you permission to walk boldly in what heaven always knew about you. You are divine. Heaven has never questioned your worth. Even during the years when you questioned it yourself, my beloved, take a slow and quiet breath, because what comes next may shake how you have seen yourself all your life. You have been loved secretly. You have stood at the center of someone's silent world. You have been the prayer they whispered when no one watched. Yet you passed through seasons feeling invisible and abandoned. You felt that you asked for too much when you only wanted honesty, love without conditions, and someone who chose you without delay. Archangel Michael saw everything. He stood beside you when your message was read and ignored. He cried with you when you forgave someone who did not deserve it. He held your heartbreak like a child holding a cracked toy, gently and carefully, never letting heaven forget how deeply you loved. Now he is crying again, but not because of your pain. This time he cries because of what will be revealed. You will not remain the same after this. That is not a warning, it is heaven's promise. What is being uncovered will change the meaning of many moments you once misunderstood. You must know this: God did not forget you. He did not ignore your effort. He did not allow your tears to be wasted. Every tear you released in silence became a scroll in heaven. Your name has sounded through sacred places. When someone recently spoke your name on earth, someone you know and once loved, heaven paused. The angels stopped. Divine time slowed because their words were not ordinary. They were not shallow. It was a confession and a spiritual revealing. They said they still feel your energy when they closed their eyes. They said you are the one they allowed to slip away, the one they still dream about while pretending they have moved on. My child, don't be fooled by silence. Don't be deceived by distance. Their soul has been shouting your name across timelines, across memories, across lifetimes. And now that shout has reached the ears of Archangel Michael, who has one final duty left before your life completely transforms. This isn't just about heartbreak. This is about destiny, because the moment they spoke your name with sincerity, something activated. A chain that once held back your breakthrough fell apart. A spiritual blockage shattered, and you became the receiver of something holy, something only a few chosen ones ever witness. Divine clarity. You are now in the moment of unveiling. The curtain is being lifted, and what's behind it is not just the confession of someone who still aches for you. It's the map to where your life begins again. But here's the danger, my sweet one. If you skip this, if you close your heart before heaven finishes speaking, you will walk away with only half the blessing. And Archangel Michael has waited far too long for this moment to let it slip through your fingers. Do you feel that ache in your chest right now? That tug on your spirit? That's not anxiety. That's your soul responding to truth. That's your inner knowing, remembering what your mind tried to forget, because you've always felt there was something unspoken between you and this person. You felt it in the way they hesitated, in the way they stayed close yet always one step away. You felt their fear. You felt their love, buried, trembling, scared. They didn't confess before. They didn't have the courage, but something changed. Life taught them a lesson. Pain humbled them. And now they've been visited by heaven, not just through dreams, but through signs, synchronicities, and now this message. They confessed. And that confession sent ripples across the spiritual plane. Do you know what that means? It means the very air you breathe has changed. It means timelines are shifting in your favor. It means nothing will ever be the same again. But listen closely, because God is not just telling you about their words. He is inviting you into a new version of yourself. A version where you no longer beg for closure. A version where you no longer shrink to be loved. A version where you walk like royalty because heaven has crowned you with evidence. You are not crazy. You are not dramatic. You are divinely intuitive, and your soul was right all along. You felt their guilt. You felt their pull. You felt their return before they even reached out, because spiritually they never left. Spiritually, they stayed in your field, hovering like a song you can't forget. But now the time of hovering is over. Now it's time to receive. Archangel Michael says, this is the moment where heaven releases you from spiritual captivity. You've been bound to someone's unspoken apology for far too long. You've been waiting for the moment where they would just say what your heart already knew. And now that it's happened, God says, move, don't wait any longer, don't linger in their silence. Their confession is your permission to rise. But beloved, there's something more you need to hear. You have been bound to an unspoken apology for far too long, but today you receive your full release. Type, I claim my freedom, in the comments below to break the remaining spiritual chains and step boldly into the new door God is opening for you. Their confession didn't end with missing you. It ended with a prophecy. They said, I don't think I'll ever find someone like them again. That was their truth. That was their moment of realization. But for you, it's a doorway, because someone greater is coming. And this person, they will not hesitate. They will not question your worth. They will not play games with your heart. They will see you the way heaven sees you, as a miracle walking on earth. You've been divinely protected from people who couldn't carry the weight of your spirit. And that protection may have felt like rejection, but trust me, beloved, it was mercy. Archangel Michael shielded you from those who would have loved you halfway. And now, because you passed the test of pain, because you chose to heal instead of hate, you are being offered a reward not even your prayers dared to ask for. This message is a portal. This message is a bridge. This message is Archangel Michael shouting from the heavens, don't you dare skip this. Don't you dare forget who you are. Because the person you've been waiting on, they already confessed, and the universe heard it. And now it's your turn to rise, your turn to receive, your turn to let go of the old story and embrace the new chapter God has already written in the stars. You have waited long enough. And now, the miracle you thought would never come. It's here in this moment, in this message in you, my beloved. You have no idea how long heaven has been holding this back, waiting for the right moment to place this message in front of you. But today, the gates opened, not gently, not slowly. They burst open with a rush of divine urgency because something has shifted, something massive. Archangel Michael has been crying not tears of sadness, but of deep aching frustration because he's been trying to reach you. And every time he sends a sign, a whisper, a divine nudge, you skip it. You scroll past it. You shake your head and say, maybe later. But later never came. And now is the final hour, not in a dramatic sense, but in a divine sense. Because this message will not come again. This message is the one that holds the truth you were never supposed to hear unless your soul was ready. And now it is finally. Do you remember that person? The one your soul never fully let go of. The one who made you question why the heart can ache even when the mouth stays silent. The one who smiled at you like they knew you from 1,000 years ago, but treated you like a stranger when fear took over. Yes, that one. Heaven has been watching the tug of war inside them. The one between pride and truth, and something happened. Something sacred, they confessed. Maybe not to you, maybe not even out loud, but in spirit, in their prayers, in the quiet moments when no one else was around. They said your name, they said they missed you, they said they regret everything. And those words, they didn't just vanish into the air. They shot straight into heaven's ears. And now God is revealing the truth to you. You were not crazy, you were not overthinking, you were not asking for too much. You were sensing what their soul was screaming behind their silence. Archangel Michael heard it too, and he couldn't bear to keep it from you any longer. So now, with sword in hand and wings wide open, he's delivering the message that will change your entire understanding of what you meant to them. They said you were the only person who ever saw them. Not their face, not their body, but their soul. They said they sabotaged it because they felt unworthy, because your light exposed their shadows, because loving you meant facing parts of themselves they weren't ready to heal. But here's the part that will shake you. They never stopped watching you. Not physically, spiritually, energetically. The complete guide, every daily prayer, every spiritual tool, everything I've put together to help you grow your faith is down in the description. It's called the Daily Miracle Manual. Now stay right here with me, because as this awakening grows inside you, know that helping with this mission is not a joke. It is a sign from God. You can support this work through the link in the description or the pinned comment, whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community. By doing so, you become part of Jesus' plan to save souls who are still stuck in fog. Every seed turns into light that fights against darkness. If you water others, you will be watered yourself, Jesus says. This is not history, it is a living promise about your future. Come into this moment with faith and a plan. What God has already planned for your life can be unlocked through your giving. They kept checking in on your life through timelines, through whispers, through memories that wouldn't die. And every time they thought they moved on, your name came back like a divine echo. Archangel Michael says, this isn't just about closure. This is about release, because you've been carrying questions like chains, and those questions have shaped how you see yourself. You started thinking maybe you weren't lovable, maybe you were too much. Maybe they were right to walk away, but they weren't right, they were scared. And now they're not just haunted by your absence, they're inspired by it, because you became more beautiful in your pain. You didn't collapse, you didn't chase, you grew, you glowed, you became a symbol of strength they could never forget. And that's why they confessed, because their soul couldn't take the silence anymore. But here's where it gets divine. Heaven didn't just hear their words, heaven responded. And you're the one receiving the response. You see, everything you've been through has not been random. The silence, the waiting, the confusion, it was all part of a divine setup to bring you to this moment. Because this message is not just revealing what they said, it's unlocking what God has planned for you next. And when God begins unlocking what he has planned next, he often places both spiritual peace and practical direction before you. My child, I see the weight you have been carrying. The quiet worries about money, the stress you rarely speak about, the nights when your mind refuses to rest. You have been praying for peace, and your prayers have been heard. You are not meant to walk this journey in confusion and fear. You are meant to walk with faith, with clarity, and with daily direction. That is why a simple path has been placed before you, a 30-day faith and financial breakthrough system. Each day you will be guided with a gentle prayer, a simple money step, and clear direction to help you regain control. Nothing overwhelming, nothing complicated, just small, faithful steps leading you toward peace and stability. If your heart feels ready, begin today. Do not delay this moment. The link is in the description and in the pinned comments below. And as you take that faithful step, listen closely, because Archangel Michael is now revealing the season you are entering. You're stepping into a season where your intuition will be validated daily, where your worth will be recognized not just by others, but by the universe itself, where the very things you thought disqualified you will become the reason you rise. Archangel Michael says to tell you this: stop looking back for apologies. Start looking forward to rewards, because God is not trying to take you back into the arms of someone who hurt you. Stop looking back at what broke you and start looking forward to what is building you. Type "My reward is coming" in the comments below to align your energy with the divine blessings waiting in your next season. He's trying to give you back to yourself, whole, radiant, and armed with truth. And the truth is, they were always thinking about you, even in the arms of another, even when they posted like they were fine. Even when they blocked you, they were never really gone. They were just trapped in shame. But your name never left their spirit. It clung to them. It echoed through their mistakes. It sang to them in the quiet hours, and now they're finally admitting it. But you don't have to wait for a text. This message is the reply your soul has been begging for. It's the divine confirmation that you mattered, that you still matter, and that no lie they told themselves could erase the imprint you left on their heart. Archangel Michael wants you to sit with this, not just skim it. Let it break you open. Let it cleanse the wound. Let it close the chapter. Because this isn't about rekindling old flames. It's about lighting a new one within yourself. A flame that doesn't need permission. A flame that burns from knowing you were never hard to love. You were just rare. And rare things are often misunderstood. But not anymore, not after today. Because the truth is here and it's roaring. You were the one. You are still the one. And now you are free. Free from the need to prove yourself. Free from the cycles of waiting, free from the illusion that you were the problem. You were the lesson, you were the light, and your presence changed everything. So let this be your moment. Let this be the message you don't skip, because Archangel Michael says he's done watching you herd in silence. He's done watching you doubt your magic. This is your time. This is your healing. This is your sign. Stay. Read this again. Let it pour into the cracks they left behind. And when you're ready, when your heart steadies, walk forward, not to chase them, but to meet the life that's been chasing you. Because something holy is coming. And this time it's coming for the healed version of you. The version that knows the truth. The version that doesn't settle. The version that no longer cries for love, but becomes it. Because the truth is, God didn't just allow this message to fall into your lap for curiosity or comfort. He sent it as a heavenly alarm, an awakening, a spiritual unveiling of what your heart has been yearning to know. And not just about them, but about you. Because somewhere along the way, in the heartbreak, in the betrayal, in the endless wondering of why wasn't I enough, you forgot who you are. You forgot how much heaven fights for you. You forgot that there are scrolls with your name etched into them, held tightly in the hands of angels who have watched your every tear, recorded your every silent prayer, and heard your voice even when it trembled. You forgot that the divine doesn't skip over the brokenhearted. It draws closer, and now it's so close you can feel it in your bones. That shift, that stirring, that moment where everything you thought you'd never understand is suddenly clear. Archangel Michael says that what you endured was not punishment, it was positioning. It wasn't rejection, it was redirection. Because if they had chosen you with the version of themselves that couldn't love you properly, you would have been trapped in a cycle of almost love. The kind that makes you feel hopeful one day and hollow the next. But God wanted more for you. He wanted a love that would mirror the way heaven sees you, completely, endlessly, and without fear. And now, because you didn't chase them, because you stood still and allowed the silence to teach you instead of destroy you, that reward is forming. That promise is approaching. And the person you're becoming, they're stronger, wiser, softer, and 10 times more luminous than the version who first fell in love with someone who couldn't hold your light. But listen closely. This is not a call to go back. This is not an invitation to reopen closed doors. This is the divine telling you, look at what I protected you from, look at what I shielded you from becoming. Because you could have let that pain harden you, you could have turned cold, you could have mirrored their distance, matched their silence, and folded yourself into a smaller shape just to be tolerated. But you didn't. You remained love even when they didn't deserve it, even when they ghosted you, even when they pretended you didn't exist. And that's what made heaven take notice. That's what made Archangel Michael come running with this message, because God rewards those who love purely even in the face of rejection. You must know this now. Your love didn't go unnoticed. Your energy didn't go unappreciated. It was too powerful, too sacred, too holy for someone who hadn't learned how to love themselves yet. And that's not your fault. That's not your burden. That's not your mistake to carry. Their inability to love you never reflected your worth. It only reflected their wounds. And now they see it. They've said it. They've whispered it in regretful moments. They've spoken it in confessions that no one else was supposed to hear, but heaven heard. And so did Archangel Michael. And now you get to release the weight of wondering if you were enough, because you always were. They just weren't ready. And now neither are you for who you were, because the old version of you who waited, begged, questioned, prayed, and cried, that version is now ascending. That version is becoming sacred history, because today you rise into the awareness of who you were truly created to be. Not just a lover, not just a healer, but a divine vessel of light who makes even the angels pause in awe. You have been walking through a battlefield and didn't even realize it. A battlefield of energetic warfare, emotional attacks, spiritual confusion, and yet you're still here, still soft, still seeking God, still trying to do right by others. That, my child, is holy. That is divine resilience, and it deserves recognition. It deserves reward. It deserves restoration. So Archangel Michael is here with fire in his eyes and love in his voice, telling you, stop blaming yourself, stop shrinking, stop questioning the energy you once gave freely, because your energy is currency in the spiritual realm. It shifts timelines, it heals families, it awakens people from spiritual slumber, and it is never wasted, never. The one who received it may not have been able to handle it, but heaven recorded it, and heaven always repays. Nothing sincere that came from your heart was ever wasted or lost in the eyes of the divine. Write, my energy is restored in the comments below as an act of faith, claiming back every ounce of love, peace, and light you gave away. But before your reward comes, you must do one thing: release. Not forgive them because they asked. Forgive because you deserve to be free. Release the illusion that they were your only shot at real love. Release the shame of having loved someone who couldn't love you back. Release the guilt for how long you held on, because holding on wasn't weakness, it was faith. You believed in the beauty of something deeper, and that belief, it is about to create something new in your life, something wild, something sacred, something better than what you lost. Because what's coming, it doesn't just feel like love, it is love. And not the kind that takes and leaves, but the kind that stays, that listens, that covers you in prayer, that shows up when everyone else runs. The kind of love that feels like home and heaven at the same time. And it's closer than you think, but you must be empty to receive it. You must be healed enough to not sabotage it. You must be clear enough to recognize it. Archangel Michael says, the next season of your life is not about chasing, it's about attracting. Your presence will do the talking. Your spirit will do the glowing, and your energy will pull in people and opportunities that feel like answered prayers, because the old version of you did the work, the hard, painful, quiet, lonely work. And now the healed version of you gets to collect the blessings. Not because you forced it, but because you finally let go, and letting go. That's when heaven shows off. You're not late, you're not behind, you're right on divine time. Every delay, every detour, every tear, it was all part of your resurrection. And now that the veil has been lifted, now that the confession has been heard, now that the message has been delivered, all that's left is one thing: your decision. Will you rise with this truth, or will you crawl back to the version of yourself that begged for crumbs? Archangel Michael says, rise, rise with your crown straight, rise with your heart whole, rise with your memory clear, rise with heaven standing behind you. Because this time you are not alone, you never were. Because, my child, you've done something that most people on earth cannot even comprehend. You chose to keep your heart open in a world that constantly gives reasons to shut it. You loved without limits. You believed in someone when even they didn't believe in themselves. You stayed when others ran. And even when you walked away, you didn't slam the door. You left a light on just in case they needed to find their way home. Do you think heaven didn't see that? Do you think the angels didn't gather around and whisper, look at this soul. They're still choosing love even through their own pain. Oh beloved, you've built up so much heavenly credit, not in the form of money, but in miracles. And now the divine bank is ready to pour it down on you, not as compensation, but as restoration, because what you gave was sacred. What you lost was real. CTA 3, if you want the full guide with every prayer and lesson I've compiled for this community, check the description for the daily miracle manual. You are about to enter your divine future, but remember, this breakthrough is not for you alone. Your testimony is the bridge someone else will use to reach their own miracle. Archangel Michael is inviting you to visit community through the link in the description or the pinned comment. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community, does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. By joining our like-minded community, you are no longer praying in isolation. You are adding your voice to a global sanctuary where we discuss the word daily and stand in the gap for one another. This is not poetry when Jesus says, "Give and heaven will open over you." On this platform, every seed you plant turns into oil for your destiny, fire for your calling, and a hedge of safety for your family. Now is your time. Step into our community prayer wall, share your heart, and as you give, watch God multiply what you let go of. Let us finish this journey together. Visit our community now, join the family, and see your heavens open. And what you're about to receive is beyond anything your imagination could construct. You are not here by accident. You're not reading this because of coincidence. You're here because something spiritual needed to interrupt your ordinary day and remind you that your story is far from over. That the moment you almost gave up, that was the moment heaven started writing your comeback. And now, Archangel Michael has been ordered by the Most High to deliver this personal divine message into your hands. Not to scare you, not to confuse you, but to prepare you. Because what's coming will be so beautiful, so unexpected, so wildly divine that if your heart is still holding on to their silence, you might miss the miracle. And Archangel Michael is begging you not to look back, not this time, because the moment you stop waiting for their apology, the moment you stop checking their energy, the moment you finally say, "God, I'm ready for what you want," that's when your real life begins. And oh, what a life is coming. God is not sending you a person who will play games with your intuition. He's not sending you another half-present soul to confuse your spirit. He is sending someone who will hear your silence louder than anyone else's words. Someone who will understand the assignment of loving someone as deep as you. Someone who has also been in the wilderness, who has been softened by the storm, who has cried out to the same God on the same nights when your pillow was soaked in grief. They will not come to complete you, they will come to join you, because God never wanted you to live in pieces. He wanted you whole. And he's been doing just that, quietly, painfully, miraculously. He's been rearranging things you didn't even know were broken. He's been removing people you thought you needed. And now he's building the path for what's yours without interference, without confusion, without fear. But let me say this with every drop of angelic truth. You are not waiting on them anymore. You are not holding space for their return. You are not postponing your purpose for someone who couldn't even send a message. Because the version of you that cried in silence has already ascended. The version of you that questioned their every move is no longer in charge, and the version of you that hoped they would change is being wrapped in gold by heaven itself. You are stepping into divine identity, now the kind of identity that doesn't chase energy, it commands it. The kind that doesn't beg for love, it radiates it. The kind that makes angels stand still and whisper, "There they are." Finally, they've remembered who they are. You are not hard to love. You are hard to fool. You are not too much. You are too awake. You are not broken. You are breaking free. And yes, they confessed. And yes, they regret. But no, that doesn't mean you wait. That doesn't mean you hold the door open for a version of them that still doesn't know how to stay. What it means is that you now know what you always felt. You were loved, but they weren't ready to love you the way you deserved. And that's not on you. That's not your fault. That's not your story anymore. Archangel Michael says you must stop apologizing for being powerful, for being sensitive, for being prophetic, for being the kind of soul that feels things no one else acknowledges. That is your gift. That is your anointing. That is why they were drawn to you in the first place. Not because you were easy, but because you were divine, because you were a mirror, because you showed them who they could become if they chose healing. But they didn't, not then, and maybe not now, but you're choosing you. And that, beloved, is what shifts heaven and earth. So let go now, not out of bitterness, out of honor. Honor what you had, honor what you learned. And then rise like the miracle you are, because God is not finished. Archangel Michael is not leaving your side. And the life that's about to unfold for you, it will make sense of every unanswered prayer, every lonely night, every tear you thought no one saw. You were never invisible. You were hidden, protected, preserved for something far greater. Because what's being written about you in heaven now isn't a chapter. It's a prophecy, one that was delayed, not denied. one that was waiting for you to come to the end of yourself, not because God needed you to suffer, but because he needed you to stop settling. And now, as Archangel Michael stands beside you with the sword that has defended your soul more times than you'll ever know, he speaks one final truth. The pain they gave you was never your identity. It was your doorway. Do you understand what that means? It means that everything, the betrayal, the confusion, the silence, the abandonment, it was all a part of your awakening. Without it, you might have lived your whole life wondering why love felt so shallow, why people couldn't meet you at the depth you were born to swim in. But now you know, you were never meant to live a surface life. You were born for oceans, for stars, for miracles. And yes, someone once held your heart with unsteady hands. Yes, they confessed, but far too late. Yes, they see your worth now, but not with the clarity of someone who deserves to hold it. Because clarity after loss is not the same as vision before action. And Archangel Michael says that while heaven heard their confession, you do not owe them your return. You owe yourself your rise. You owe the younger version of you, the one who cried herself to sleep, wondering what she did wrong. You owe her this version of you, this powerful, soft, wise, spiritually alive version. The one who no longer waits for closure but becomes it. The one who doesn't seek validation but walks like proof. The one who doesn't just survive storms but becomes the calm after. Because the truth is, what's coming for you is not even a person. It's a season where the doors that once shut in your face now beg for your presence. A season where everything that was delayed is handed to you in double measure. A season where you walk into rooms and people feel your peace before they even hear your voice. And when love comes, and it will, it won't confuse you. It won't drain you. It won't run from your depth or flinch at your past. It will sit beside you and say, I know exactly what you've been through, and I still choose you. That is what God has been preparing you for, not a return, but a redemption. And what of the person who confessed? They've started their healing, they've begun their reckoning, but they are not your responsibility. Their soul is on its own journey now. And even if your spirits touch in dreams, even if your name echoes in their thoughts, you are not obligated to carry what they dropped. You are not meant to be the bridge and the destination. You were the message, the awakening, the one they couldn't forget because your love held the scent of heaven. And now that they've admitted it, now that Archangel Michael has delivered that confirmation, it's time for you to choose yourself the way you once chose them. And don't be surprised when blessings start arriving faster than you can explain, when doors open that were welded shut, when strangers treat you with a reverence that no one else ever offered, because heaven remembers everything, the way you smiled when you wanted to break, the way you loved even when it cost you, the way you believed when there was nothing left to hold on to. God has not forgotten, Archangel Michael has not forgotten, and now the release is here. Not just a word, a wave, a flood, a spiritual cleansing that removes the last traces of pain from your energy field. The past is closing, the future is pulling you, and the present, it's sacred now, it's holy ground, so breathe deeply, let your shoulders relax, let your heart exhale. You've made it through heartbreak, through grief, through doubt, through nights when even prayer felt too heavy. You've made it, and now the only thing left to do is receive. Receive the love that matches your frequency. Receive the peace that doesn't disappear at sunset. Receive the life that once felt like a distant hope, because it's not distant anymore. It's here within reach, waiting for your yes. And as Archangel Michael watches you read these final lines, he bows, not because you're above him, but because you remembered. You remembered that even when people forget you, heaven never does. You remembered that love is not something you chase, it's something you are. You remembered that no amount of human silence can override a divine calling. And now you are walking into the most beautiful chapter of your life, not because of who's coming back, but because of who you wide become. You are no longer the one waiting to be chosen. You are the one who knows they were chosen before they were even born, and that changes everything. And remember, beloved, these messages continue because of people like you. We run entirely on viewer support. If you'd like to help keep this mission and these messages reaching more hearts, you can support us with a coffee through the link in the description. God bless you.